I am posting this because I need help. I have turned to friends, family members, even the police, only to be shut down. I need to know if anyone else has had a similar experience, and if so, what they did. I woke up this morning after a great night's sleep. It was the first time in a long time where I was actually able to fall asleep and stay asleep through the night. I thought it was going to be a good day, but I was so wrong. You see, my mom had always been known for her bright personality, for her love and acceptance. I was so grateful to have someone like her as a mom. However, when I went downstairs, something was off. Her bright personality somehow seemed even brighter, which might not sound alarming, but it didn't feel right. As soon as I came down, she stopped wiping down the table. She froze in that position, turned her head towards me, and just smiled. A large, eerie grin. I didn't know what to make of it, and she wouldn't respond, so I left the house with goosebumps coating my arms. Down the street, there was an old man waiting for the bus. The man was Howard Coy. He always seemed to be grumpy, alone, and avoided talking to his neighbors at all costs. As I approached, he turned his head towards me, and smiled. To say it was unsettling would be an understatement. I smiled back at him, nervously, and kept walking because what else could I do? Soon enough I approached the Starbucks that opened about 10 minutes from my home a few months ago. It should have been open, but the door wouldn't budge, and it was as if the windows were tinted because I couldn't see inside. I tried the car dealership across the road, just because I felt as though I was going insane and needed to see another human. Another normal human. But it was all the same. Dark windows, locked doors. I tried the nearby KFC, the local Walmart, anything I could walk to. I knew it wasn't a prank. Only an idiot would think that. But I really had no explanation for what was going on. The cars on the road, in the parking lots, they were all empty. Still with their doors shut, signals on if they were somewhere where they needed to signal, etc., but no one driving them. I ran back home. Howard was still at the bus stop, smiling. My mom was still wiping down the table, smiling. I ran to my parents' room to find my dad in the bathroom. His back was to me, he didn't turn around, but he could see me in the mirror's reflection and was still smiling right at me. I am now locked in my bedroom, and I am typing this as fast as possible. I don't know who these people are, but I heard the sound of my dad walking downstairs at a quick pace, with loud, even footsteps. His walking didn't even sound natural. I can hear them whispering, but I can't make out what they're saying. I wake up at exactly 4:33 a.m., every night. It's not connected to any special occasion or events, it just happens, every single night. No matter how hard I try to knock myself out with sleeping medication. I have been to many doctors in the past few years, and they all have absolutely nothing to tell me. I am perfectly healthy, and their most rational way to explain my strange problem is a nerve reaction occurring every night at the same rhythm. I woke up like every night, but something was different. My room was extremely cold, like someone just had put me into a giant freezer. I stood up, and as my eyes stared to adjust themselves to the darkness, I saw my window wide open, my curtain softly swinging with the cold morning breeze that filled my room. I remember shutting my window closed and locking it, like I do just every night. Am I crazy? I began to ask myself. Did Grandpa open it while I was asleep? No, that couldn't be the case. I would have been awoken by him, walking up the creaking stairs. In addition to that, he is already a bit insecure on his feet and usually doesn't climb the stairs in case it is not absolutely necessary. I was so lost in my thoughts that I nearly forgot that the window was still open. As I walked up to shut it close, I stopped dead in my tracks. I heard something moving on top of a roof. Footsteps, but not human-sounding footsteps. They were long and carefully taken. Similar to a predatory animal, trying to approach its unsuspecting victim. I stood still and listened as the footsteps continued on the roof, moving to the east side of our ranch house. Suddenly my phone began to ring. I nearly got a heart attack as I picked it up from my desk. The display showed no caller ID. Without hesitation I picked it up and answered the call. "Hello," I said in a clear voice. Silence on the other end. "Hello, who is this?" I asked again. Then the call was ended from whoever was on the other end. My room was silence again. The footsteps had stopped. I wondered if it could have been some large animal, but there was no rational explanation for any large animal, like that, to get onto our roof. The rest of the day occurred as any other. The next day I woke up, the alarm clock showing 4:33. I laid in bed thinking of what I should wear to university this day, as the roof over my bedroom started slowly creaking again. Oh no, not again, I was thinking at this moment. The footsteps started again, but this time they seemed more faster and aggressive moving. I just laid back down and put my AirPods in, wanting to just blur the noise out, instead of confronting who or whatever that was crawling on top of my house. I started to dress myself at around 6 a.m. and began to walk downstairs to eat breakfast. Relieved that I wasn't hearing footsteps anymore. That day my aunt along with my cousin, who was 6 at the time, came to visit us at our place. After a barbecue in our backyard, we all gathered together in the hallway to say our goodbyes. My little cousin suddenly approached me, and handed me a drawing of his. It was a classic drawing, a kid that age would make. It showed our backyard with me and the other adults sitting on the table in our ranch house in the background. We all said our goodbyes and my aunt left with my little cousin. I couldn't fall asleep that night, so I just took the drawing from my desk and began to look at it with my tired eyes. Something about that drawing was just off. It took me a short while to realize it, but there was something in the background. My little cousin drew what seemed like some strange black mass with 6 long spider-like legs stretched out on all sides crawling on top of our roof. Strangely, I managed to fall asleep even though it was a very light sleep, after I locked all my windows and doors. I woke up at 4:33, as usual. I did my morning routine and went downstairs. I just started to make myself coffee when our home landline started ringing. I picked up and on the other end was my aunt crying her eyeballs out. After several failed attempts to calm her down, I managed to understand that my little cousin was missing. He hadn't been in his bed in the morning. After seeing his bedroom window wide open, she informed the police and they began searching for him. I'm afraid that his disappearance might have something to do with him seeing and drawing this creature on top of my house. That was 1 week ago and they still haven't found anything. The footsteps and shoveling noises had stopped for a few days, but this morning they were back, even louder. Today I was awoken by a loud thumping noise. At first I didn't know what that sound was, but then it clicked in my head. I quickly hurried downstairs and yelled for my grandfather. Nothing. Just silence. I ran into his bedroom and found a single empty shotgun round laying beside his Ithaca M37 on the floor next to his bed. I quickly hurried to the kitchen and dialed 911 on our home landline. No call signal. Someone or something had cut the landline. Then my fight or flight instinct kicked in and I quickly ran back to my grandpa's room, grabbed the shotgun and rushed downstairs to my office room. I locked the door behind me and just waited. Somewhere in the distance a bone-chilling scream echoed from the direction of the forest behind our ranch. Not some scream any human could produce, it almost reminded me of the way an angry mountain lion would scream, just much louder and so intense that it made the hair on my neck stand up. I had passed for a while and woke up to the sound of something walking upstairs in the living room. It was then, when I looked up to the clock hanging above the locked door. It's almost 3 a.m. So here I'm sitting now typing this down with shaky hands. I'm afraid that whatever is out there will come back and find me, when it gets hungry again. Update. It's 4:33 again. I have to stay hidden in my basement office. However, I took some countermeasures against this thing, or I don't even know what else to call it. I tried to hide my infrared thermal image or body heat signature by putting on the oven in the upstairs kitchen for hours at a day. I since remained the rest of the day downstairs, the basement entrance door tightly locked. I also have my granddad's shotgun with 4 12 caliber rounds remaining. I also took several other safety measures, as well as setting up tripwire on the basement stairs. But somehow I can keep it away, as much as I wanted to. Every night at exactly 4:33 I wake up to the sound of something heavy crawling down the stairs towards my office, taking every step very carefully. This creature is intelligent. It seems to avoid triggering the wire. It knows that I am hiding down there. As soon as the sun comes up over the horizon, it calmly walks up the stairs again, only to disappear into the dense forest behind the ranch. I really don't know what to do. I'm afraid of getting outside, but I have to. Since 4 days have passed, I'm literally starving. I have to get supplies. My nightmares have only gotten worse as I spent the night sleeping in this office. I'm afraid that one night the creature won't stop in front of the weak wooden door, getting to me before 4:33 a.m. A lot of questions are going through my head right now. Where is Grandpa? Did this thing really take him? Could he at least have wounded it? This would explain the fired-off shell. But there was a number, something I have to do in cases like this, I remembered. My grandpa has once told me to call a specific number he kept in his folders under his desk, if anything suspicious happened. I remember him saying, "Why couldn't I think about this before?" I hurried to my grandpa's room, searching for the phone number. It was deeply buried between old bills and insurance sheets. But there it was. A yellowish sheet of paper with a single phone number and a company's logo in the upper right corner named Biological Research Center Nova. I grabbed the phone from the kitchen counter, and dialed the number. The call signal was music to my ears. After 2 rings, a male voice calmly began to talk. "Biological Research Center Nova, what's the reason for your call? There is this thing out there, it took my grandfather." I stumbled into the phone. "You need to cooperate with me," the man's voice began to change. "From where are you calling?" he asked. I gave him my exact address. "Are there more than one?" "No, I don't think so," I replied with a shaky voice. "Find shelter and take something to protect yourself with," he instructed me. "We will send a team out, stay inside." This happened only 30 minutes ago. I will keep you updated.